everybody. So I am back as promised again. So today is December the 6th and I wanted to give you guys a little update on that meeting that I told you I had coming up that wasn't actually scheduled, but we had it. So I couldn't remember the date in the last video, but it was actually on December 1st, which was a few days ago. So as I suspected, he did not contact me even after I received 2 confirmation emails and 2 confirmation text messages. I still did not get contacted. Now, he told me initially it was going to be at 7 o'clock, I believe, and the email said 6. So when 6 o'clock rolled around, I was like, okay, if he didn't contact me, it did technically, he told me 7, because I believe the latest that they do appointments is at 6 o'clock. So I was like, you know what, that makes sense. He did say that he was booked, so that makes sense. However, when 7 o'clock rolled around, I'm like, all right, he should be wrapping up if he is doing anything. But then by the time 8 o'clock came out, I was like, okay, so he's just not gonna contact me, and didn't. So I emailed him around like 8:45 that night, I believe, basically saying, you know, hey, you missed our appointment. Is there anything that you need from me so we can get everything submitted to underwriter? Because I had sent him some documentation last time. I think it was like this letter for my student loans, some bank statements, and something else. I just don't remember what it was, but he had already got information from me when we spoke on November the 10th, which was our last actual meeting. So the following day, he emailed me that morning, so it's December 2nd now, just to keep the timeline going because a lot has happened in the last few days. So December the 2nd, he emails me that morning saying, hey, sorry, but not sorry that he missed the meeting. And he said that he still needed my signature on those verifications of residency at the apartments that I live at currently, as well as the ones that I lived at in 2019. And I'm like, no, you don't. I emailed him back saying, you know, hey, I emailed those back to you. And what I did was I forwarded him the initial message that I sent back on November the 10th. He had 2 different ones, and for some reason he emailed them to me separately. So I emailed them back to him separately. And I sent them back with the dates, November the 10th at like 3 or 4 something in the afternoon, you know, so you've been having it. He was like, oh, well, it was the wrong signature. I said, initially, yeah, it was the wrong signature, but remember, you told me to correct it and I corrected it and I sent it right back the same day. He had never checked that I had sent it back. So basically, from what he explained to me, he thought that he was waiting on me when I had actually sent that back to him. So he was like, oh, okay, well, I didn't see that. Did you check? Probably not, but okay. So he now has that information. So I asked him again, you know, is there anything else that you need from me as far as right now is concerned? And he said that he needed me to get an employment verification, or he needed the company code for my job's employment verification. So I emailed that back to him like almost immediately. I checked on the website, got that information, sent it back to him. And then a couple hours later, he said that he needed me to do the verification myself. And I was kind of like, okay, that kind of took me aback, I guess, because when companies try to verify your employment, they have to pay for it. And employees, while we can't see, like, or at least at my job, we can't see the verification itself, but there's a way for us to get one that is kind of like a soft version that we can provide to anyone who's doing that. So I went ahead and gave that to him as soon as I was able to do so, because I was working while him and I were emailing and it was quite busy. So I was trying to get back to him as soon as I possibly could. But I wanted to know when would be the next time that we would be having an actual meeting, or were we just going to keep emailing? Because I'm fine with that. But it's like, you know, let me know something, because each email I'm sending you, I'm asking you if you need anything else, and you're saying no, but then I get another message saying that you do in fact need something. That was a little annoying, but I was like, okay, whatevs. So after I sent him that employment verification, that was it. I didn't hear from him for the rest of the day. He had only confirmed that he got it. So now it's December the 3rd. It was Thursday, I believe. That morning he emailed me again saying that he needed the email address to send the residential verifications to. And I'm like, once again, did I or did I not ask you if you needed any other information from me? It's getting just annoying that it's little stuff he keeps forgetting, stuff that could have been handled at the time when we were originally discussing this. Like, if you know that you're asking me for information you already had, but that's neither here nor there at this point, you need to email it somewhere. And on none of those pages does it have the email address. Wouldn't that be common sense to ask for that information? But he didn't. So now we're prolonging this another day. So you had this information for 3 weeks, but also in those 3 weeks, you never asked me for the email address to either of those apartments. And in the email that he sent, when he did finally ask me, he claimed that he couldn't get anybody on the phone at my current apartment. And I was like, you know what? I struggle with that too. They take forever to answer the phone sometimes. But when I called, I got somebody immediately. Surprisingly, that usually never happens. So got the email form, sent it right over to him while I was still on the phone with the apartment. I did it quickly. So then he also said my other apartments where I was living in 2019, that he just got an automated system, that he didn't get a person on the phone. And if I had their information, and I did, and I don't live there anymore, so I Googled their number and I got the email address for him, also sent that back to him. This is all within like a 7-minute time frame. You have the information that you need. So I was like, okay, now that you have the email addresses to where you're going to send this information to, what exactly is the next step? Is there anything else that you need from me in particular? And he said, no, we're good. Since you went ahead and got me the email addresses, I will go ahead and send this off to them so they can complete. And I was like, okay, great. I asked him, actually, before I say that, I asked him again, this is my third time asking now, when were we going to actually set up another meeting? He still has not answered this question, so I still don't have an answer. So the day keeps going on. I don't hear from him, and I go on about my business, enjoy my day or whatever. And that evening, my mom and my sister come over unexpectedly. We're having a good time. We're talking, we're drinking, family. Haven't seen them since Thanksgiving, at least not together. So out of nowhere, out of the blue, it's like 7 o'clock at night, I believe. My phone rings. Now, normally I don't answer numbers that I don't know. I'm just one of those people who, if I'm not expecting you to call me, I'm not answering the phone. So I recognized the number though, because it was the NACA Houston office. I've called it so many times. I pretty much know the number by heart. So I went ahead and answered it, and it was him. Now, mind you, we never set up another time to talk. So I was a little taken aback that he called me. So he was like, hey, sorry for calling you so late. Basically, I needed some more information from you. What do you mean? I asked you 3 times if you needed something else from me. So I'm like, okay, what do you need from me? So he said that he needed November's bank statements, which makes sense because last time we spoke, my bank was still on October. It's like a month behind, and it's now December, so now the November ones is available. I said, okay, cool. So I hand my mom my drink, and I'm like, okay, gotta get to work. Luckily, I was at home and near my laptop, so I can pull up all this information. So as we're talking, I'm sending him this information. So sent all the bank statements and the credit card statements. We're good. And then he asked me for the last 2 months of my it was for my car. I'm trying to think of the name of it. I'm just gonna say my car invoice. Now, the last counselor I had, he never asked me for the invoice itself. He asked me for proof of payment. Like, it was an Excel spreadsheet that I was able to get from the dealership website that shows what I owe, what I pay, and what I still owe. He asked it for it in that format, so I thought that was kind of weird, but I was like, hey, if you need it, I'll send it to you. So I sent that over to him. Mind you, I'm sending all of this while we are on the phone together. And then we talked for about 30 minutes just trying to get all of that together, and he never actually apologized, at least verbally, except saying that little sorry in the first email he sent me about flaking on the first appointment that we set up. And at this time, I'm asking him again when are we going to set up another meeting? And I was like, well, if we're not going to set up another meeting, that's okay. Because he stated that it's better for him to communicate via email. And it is for me too, because I'm pretty busy during the day, pretty much every day. So, but my emails come straight to my phone. So as soon as, you send it to me, as long as I have my phone on me, I'm going to see it. So I was okay with that. That wasn't that big of a deal. I just wish that expectation would have been set originally instead of trying to do this meeting thing, because I feel like with all these little things he keeps forgetting, it's prolonging this longer than it needs to be. Because if you guys remember, our last meeting that we had in November, we pretty much were just about ready to go to underwriting, but now he's telling me 3 weeks after that he's needing more and more information that I could have sent to him, minus the bank statements back then, and some of it I did send back to him. So it's like he keeps forgetting these little things that's just tacking more and more and more and more time on this, and that's just getting on my nerves. So of course I had to get that off my chest. I explained, I understand that you guys have a huge workload. I'm sure this is a great program, so I know the people who know about it, at least I'm sure you're dealing with a lot of other people, but it's like, maybe don't just skim the email I sent to you, maybe actually read it, because I said several times, do you need anything? And I'm always available by phone, I'm always available by email. Like, I shouldn't have to keep chasing you down. It's pretty much what I was getting at. And he was like, yeah, well, it is a rather busy season for us, and it's different because everything was COVID, blah, 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 blah. And I understand that, but we are all experiencing this pandemic. I'm still getting my job done. What's your excuse? Being busy is not a thing. Like, if you're gonna have this kind of job, you need to learn how to multitask. I have to multitask at my job. I'm sure a lot of us do. So it's like I was trying to be understanding, but at the same time, it's like I don't want him to get comfortable keep doing this to me, because I don't have the luxury of waiting for you to get this done when I'm already ready. And it's like, I don't want to keep wasting my time with that. But we had our little spiel about that, and everything was cool after the fact. So after I got off the phone with him, that was pretty much it. He did not answer my question about when I was going to hear from him again. He basically just said that email is going to be better. And that's where he left it. So that was December the 3rd. And I have not talked to him since. And today is now the 6th. Now, if I'm not mistaken, they don't work on like Thursdays and Fridays. I'm sorry, not Thursday and Fridays. They don't work on Saturday and Sundays. Their office is closed, which is understandable. So tomorrow, which is going to be Monday, December the 7th, I'm going to email him again and ask where we are with this process. Because the expectation that he set is that pretty much once my current apartments and my former apartments, once they send him the verification of rental history, he has everything that he needs to submit me to underwriting. Now, I don't know how long that takes. I've never had to do one of these before, so I don't know what timeline we're looking at. I would expect it takes a few days, but I'm still going to email him tomorrow to ensure that that's all that we're looking for, that he doesn't need anything from me personally, that there's nothing that I can do to ensure that we're on track. So I'm hoping that that's actually the case. I'm not too stressed out about this situation at this time. It's been a little annoying because I'm very much a person who's like, let's strike it while the iron's hot. We need to get this done. Let's go ahead and get this done. Yeah, but that's just my personality. But I understand everybody works like that. So it's not getting stressful. I definitely am not in a stage where I want to give up. I don't feel like I need to request another person, because it seems like this is pretty much the case for all of their counselors from what I've seen and read and watched on YouTube. So we're still going to go through with this, see where we get, but I'm hoping that at least by this week that both of the apartments can get that verification done and we can go ahead and submit to underwriting, because he did explain that he has to contact me first before he can actually submit me to underwriting. I don't know if there's something I necessarily have to sign. He didn't go into too much detail about it, but basically we have to have a conversation of some sort, whether it's going to be phone or email, or he's going to set up another meeting, that we do have to actually speak before he can give it to the underwriter. So whenever that happens, I will be back once again to update you guys. And we'll see what happens from there. I'm still really hopeful about this, so I think we're getting close, or I hope I'm not just, like lying to myself, but I think we're getting pretty close. So if we can do underwriting before this year is over, that would be fantastic. Actually, now that I'm actually thinking about it, that would be perfect. Because like I said before, my lease isn't technically up until March, but I know how hard it's been for anyone who is buying a house, especially out here in Houston. It's like, it's either like a 7-month process or people finding houses immediately. It's like, it's so wishy-washy right now that we don't technically know. But that's pretty much all I have for you guys. But there is something I want to say. I have just noticed several days ago that people have been leaving me comments. I didn't know, I don't get notifications for stuff like that, so it never dawned on me that anyone would actually leave me one. I did go back and respond to all of them, even the ones that were like from 2 months ago. I just wanted to let everybody know I was not intentionally ignoring anyone. I genuinely did not see it. So I think it's great that you guys are leaving me comments. It actually made me pretty happy when I saw it, so thank you for those of you who did. But going forward, I will make sure that I stay on top of reading those or finding them, because you have to go to, or how I found it, I was just playing around on YouTube and I saw YouTube Studio and I was like, what is this? And it's like where it shows you your channel stuff, and that's how I saw the comments, and I was like, what were y'all gonna tell me about this? I don't know, but like I said, I didn't see that, so that's totally my bad. I do apologize. I don't think I don't want anyone to think that I was just trying to ignore you, because that was not the case. I think it's great that we're kind of creating an open dialogue. So continue to leave me comments. I will certainly respond as soon as I can. So thank you so much again for watching. I will see you guys next time. I hope everybody stays safe. Bye.